Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for the 2019 February My Monthly Hero Arts Kit. It's a beautiful gold ribbon wrapped like a gift around the stamp set. We have flappers and dancing. We have a lady and a gentleman. We have a beautiful young woman with a hat. We have Hey There Dollface, Ain't Misbehavin', Cats Meow, Bees Knees, all kinds of wonderful quotes from the 1920s. So we basically have the matching dies for 7 items, which include the car, the flappers, the dancing couple, we have a martini glass, we have the radio die and the Victrola die. And we also have in this bag here the round disc confetti in the black and the gold. It's a mix of varying sizes. And we have 2 pieces of reflective mirror card. One is silver and the other is in gold. And also included is this wonderful stencil. It is a very Art Deco angular stencil. It's a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch. The next item we have is an add-on, which is a graphic deco stencil, which is a 6 by 6 stencil. We also have a red rubber background stamp, which is called Deco in the City, bold print. That's a really neat one. It leaves like the lines of the outline of the building. That's a nice invitation, celebration, congratulation, multi-use stamp set. It's called Deco Celebration. We have vintage window fancy die. It's like an Art Nouveau look to it. And we also have the ballroom window fancy die as well. And then we have the Dancing Music Notes confetti die, which makes great confetti for shaker cards, as well as using them to, decorate the front of the cards as well. And it's a full size 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch background die. I took out the car stamp right here, and I'm going to actually, just bear with me a second. I'll try not to have the mirror card shining up at you. So let me kind of do that so as to not blind you. Okay. So that way you're not going to get a full-fledged shiny eye. Using the Gina K Amalgam black ink. And I put lots of ink. That's what I like to do. Let's see if I can get a really crisp stamping. Here, as you can see, I'm putting lots and lots of ink. That's what I do. Making sure I have tons of ink on here. And then I'm going to align piece of gold paper here. And on the headlights and the windshield, I use the Hero Arts Crystal Clear Lacquer Pen. So I'm going to let that dry a bit. While that's drying, I'm going to put under it, it says Cats Meow. So I'm just going to pick that up. There we go. I'm gonna go back to the amalgam ink, the Gina K black amalgam ink. Love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go down here. Take out one of my, got stuff on there already. Okay. Lots of ink. I'm sorry, I know I'm out of shot here. I'm just basically putting ink. Lots and lots of ink. It's my motto. I always use a lot of ink. It's just what I do. Hopefully I didn't get it all over me. I'm feeling like I did. Just a smidgen. Okay. So we're just gonna put it back up in here. And press firmly. And let's hope it's one and done. Oh, gorgeous. It is one and done. Love you, Gina K, and your amalgam ink. Okay. Let's put that away. Put away the cat's meow. Okay. Maybe a little bit better. Oh, we're good. It's away. All right. Now, we're going to take this. Just gonna move this out of the way. I have this, I don't recall what it's from because I've used it many times and I unfortunately never put it back with what it came with, which is rare for me, but oh well, I don't know what it's called, but it is a tag of some sort. If I find it, I will list it down below. It's one of those lost dies, you know. Gonna have to do an expedition, try and find where it belongs. Okay, and back through. Okay. Ta-da! There it is. It's got a little hole in it. Put some of that wonderful ribbon that we got in the kit as well. Okay. So in case you wondered where that went, I have the Spellbinders little diamond. It's basically a huge magnet and it looks like a diamond. Ta-da! So that's where I end up putting my dies while I'm in the midst of using them. Oh, that's dead. Okay. I just, poor piece of washi tape. It just died, but that's okay. It's been well used and well worn. Okay, take that out of the way. And put that extra piece away. So here's my cat's meow. You can see a little car up here. Now, I was going through some things and I came across a wreath builder, which is from Gina K Designs. And do you remember the piece of paper that the stamp set and dies were attached to? Well, I made a wreath builder piece. So I'm basically going to adhere it to a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. Now the edges will come off because it's a little too large, and that's fine. It works. So we could do something like this. The cat's meow. With some ribbon here. These are glue dots. I have little glue dots. Glue dot or 3. Okay. So I will stick this on here. There we go. That's good. Now we'll take the backing off of here. Just sort of center it here. It's going to make it at an angle, but it looks better like so. All right. It's the cat's meow. So now we're just going to take it, put some glue runner back here. And then we're going to end up cutting some of this off. But that's just fine. Just center it here. Okay, so now we take it and we trim away the excess. Okay, there it is. It's the cat's meow. All right, and now for the second card. Okay. So I've started a second card, and I've decided I was going to go around. I'm using the Gina K Wreath Builder stencil. It's the smaller because it comes with a 2-pack. So I got that. I'm using that, and I'm inking with the Gina K Amalgam ink. I'm doing the 4 corners here with the Victrola. Oh, it's just incredible ink. It's so awesome. Just have to spin this around. It's the last time around here. You could see it, but I'm putting, there we go. I'm putting the ink right there. Doesn't need a lot because I already put a good amount on there. I just wipe around. I have to say this, the lid to the Precision Press Advanced, I have to say it doesn't stain or mark up easily. Comes off quite cleanly when I wipe it with just a dry baby wipe. Okay. Oh, very nice. And I have several of these lids, these acrylic lids. So this is where the Victrola is. And I put on the 2 dancers here in the center. What I had done was I had lined it up to see where to put the Victrola. And that way I can put these guys in the center. It looks like I can move that one side over a smidge, so I'm going to take it off. Thought I was ahead of myself, but I'm not too crazy about how that looked on the one side. A little more centered. I think that should do it. Okay. Oh, his whole suit is black. Very nice. Of course, it's a tux. Okay. here. Don't want to leave it dirty. Okay. It should come up really nice, very nicely. I'll maybe do a little more stamping of that. Get it a little bit more covering, a little more coverage. If I could speak, that would be wonderful. What time is it? It's almost midnight here, and I think after this card, I will have to come back and do more in the morning. So I appreciate your patience with me. There we go. So the black should be more filled in. Yes, speaking is difficult at midnight. For me anyway. Oh, there we go. That's a beautiful thing. Okay. Just dry this off a little bit here. Okay. Put these away. Hello everyone, I'm back. So I just want to continue making this card. I'm going to use Versamark. And I am using Ranger Superfine embossing powder in the silver. Okay. So I'm using 8 Misbehavin'. Make sure I have good coverage here. And this is the Nina 100-pound heavyweight cardstock. Okay, do it one more time, make sure I have really good coverage here. Just putting more of the Versamark on there. Stamp it one more time for good measure. Okay. Now we'll take it off of my, oops, sorry. Sorry for the noise. I try to actually put it on. I did use my anti-static powder tool. Okay, that was easy peasy. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Take my little trusty brush. Get rid of all that white. Actually, I have the new Nouveau dusting brush. See if that helps. Very nice. And then I'll just give it a little quick wipe with a dry wipe. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So now I take my 4¼ by 5½ top folding card, and I am going to center this. Oh, very quick note. I wanted to show you that, I don't know if you see here, but I have some marks, a few marks. So what I'm going to show you is you can easily rid yourself of these marks. Use my trusty brush here, which I just dropped. These things happen. Okay, just take it off like that, and voila, we're clean again. Okay, so now I'm going to use my handy dandy Mega Runner. I'm just simply going to place, it's dotted, which I love, just some dry glue, has good tack to it. I know if Alexandra's watching, she knows you don't need all of that, but like Greg, I need that extra bit. Okay, so we do center it here as much as possible. Not an exact science, but there it is. Okay, so now we have that there. And then behind the scenes, I was working on the pièce de résistance, as I call it, because I basically cut and pieced her dress so it would be silver glitter paper. And then I added some gold glitter paper I had in my stash on the edges to kind of make the silver pop. And I used the Pure Arts lacquer pen on both the Victrola here and on the little records. I don't know if you can see the little shine there. Ta-da! So cute. And then I just cut out from the fancy die. Let's see, it is called, let's see if I can get that, Dancing Music Notes Confetti Die, which is this. And that's where I got the confetti, all this little confetti, little notes. And now I'm going to stick this on very carefully. I think I'm going to actually, it's going to pop it up with some foam tape, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to leave it. Well, you know what? Let's be fancy dancy. They're fancy. Let's do this. Gonna cut a piece. Believe it or not, the lacquer's not dry yet, so I'm trying not to stick my fingers into. Okay. Get my large scissors here. Tim Holtz. I'm going to cut just below. Okay, put that down a second. See if we've got this properly. I'm hoping I don't stick my fingers in here. Okay, I just cut it a little bit smaller here, and I'll just glue it on. Gonna use some of the Gina K Connect glue here. Move this over, show you what I'm doing. Now I could use a double stick tape. I'm working on getting a nice big roll of that. Basically a paper tape that's super sticky. Okay. Just trying to be cautious not to get my fingers into that lacquer. Okay. Okay. Now I have to carefully hold it so I don't squish the Victrolas. I'm just simply adding very little glue. I don't need much. I could use the dry runner tape, but this is a lot stronger and I want to ensure that it doesn't come off. Okay, lid on. Okay, there we go. All right, almost got the record album there. Okay, so this is my second card. Ain't Misbehaving. Love this set. Now for my third card, I'm just going to do something uber simple. This is when I cut out the confetti, all the little musical notes. And I'm just going to simply use it. Just a regular side folding. I'm just going to place it on top, like so. And then I'm going to take, let's see here. These are on very tightly, which is a good thing. Okay, they're in the Gilded by Brutus Monroe. Give that a try. See what I can do with that. Okay. So, all right, turtle, powder, powder, powder. Powder over there too. Just do the whole thing. Okay. There we go. Now, always, always, always remember the powder tool when you want to heat emboss anything. I'll put some extra Versamark on there. Okay. Oh, much better. I'll just put a little more. Okay. Let's place this elsewhere. Don't want to dump it out. Try to put it back when I can. Here we go. Heat tool. There you go. There it is. It's a thing of beauty. see, I do not believe they have anything that will cut that out. So I'm going to go over to my trimmer and be right back. Okay, I'm back again. So here you go. That's how it looks. I just cut it up. Make it simple. You could do a very quick little snip on the edges here. My little handy dandy micro scissors. Take a little, just a tiny snip. Make it a little bit bigger. One more. There we go. That went all over me, but that's okay. So you just put that down. I'm going to get the small squares I came across on Amazon, and I can link them at the bottom as well, if you're interested, of course. And there's one. And you could just still cut it down to size a little. There we go. So these are the 3 cards I've made with this set. Okay. I think we're gonna glue this down very carefully. I mentioned earlier Alexandra. It's Alexandra Stapleton Smith and her husband Greg. And they're wonderful people. They are on the Hedgehog Hollow. She has wonderful kits that she does every month or quarterly, depending on how you want to do it. You should visit their site. They're amazing, they're fun, and they're wonderful. So there we go. I like that it doesn't matter. Oh, yes, I kind of think it does matter. Oh, no. Does it matter which way it goes? Let's see. I did put a lot of tape on here, people. I'm going to gently, gently flip this around because I had a boo-boo, a faux pas on my part. Oh, that's okay. That can be easily fixed as well because it's just going to stick to the page and nobody will ever know. Okay. Now we flipped it back over. It's been done. Mistakes will happen. This is reality. It's reality TV in card making. There you go. Okay. No one has been harmed in this card making episode. Okay. Okay, so now we can put our lovely sentiment on. Make sure it's straight. Line it up here. I actually have the Tim Holtz. It's the aligning piece. So I can make sure, sorry, pardon my arm, I was picking something up. I can actually make sure that it's straight. and centered. There you go. And there's the third card. Okay, well, these are my 3 cards. Hello, everyone. I'm back to do card number 4. Here I'm opening Nouveau Glimmer Paste in the gold, and I will be using that on the card today. Here we go. For this card, I will be using the Nouveau Glimmer Paste in the gold, and I am applying it with a rubber spatula. In the center, I had used some, it's a removable label, and I just cut out a section and taped it off so that I wouldn't get any of the glimmer paste onto the center. So I'm just putting it along, gliding it through, making sure I get every area covered. And I'm just scraping off the remainder and getting it all cleaned up all around the stencil. The stencil is really gorgeous. It came with the kit. It is not an add-on, so it's the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch stencil that they sent with the stamp set. So here we go. We're getting all of that wonderful paste picked up. We don't want to lose any part of that. It's wonderful stuff, and it goes on smoothly and dries beautifully. It dries fairly quickly, within maybe, I try to let it dry for about 30 minutes. So put that away, and now I'm going to carefully lift up the stencil, and here's the reveal. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to set it aside to dry. And we're moving on to the stamping part. So this is the lady and gentleman that are kicking up their heels there, their flappers. What I did here was something I saw Gina K do on her channel, and it's simply doing the die cutting of the pieces onto white paper, and then taking the stamps that go over the die cuts and placing them over the top, and then stamping them on. And then I'm going to do probably a couple of stampings here to ensure that it's nice and dark in color, so you get every portion of it covered up. There's a few pieces that even after the second stamping I could not quite get coverage on. So I show you a quick little tip and trick to cover that over, whatever you've missed. So here we go. I'm going to lift it the second time. Oh, nope, see, it's not completely covered. So I'm moving it because I'm thinking it could be my desk. Maybe somehow it's not level. So there's still a few splotches. So I'm taking out the Nouveau alcohol marker, and that's in the black. That's also a part of a 3 marker set. So there you go. Nobody will ever know. So here we go. There's the piece of cardstock I had taken the die cut out of, and now I'm placing the gentleman and the lady flappers off to the side. And we're going to place them on the card, see what good placement will be. And I'm deciding on where to put the sentiment here. I'm kind of figuring that out, moving the sentiment around, moving the flappers around. And I've decided that I was going to possibly put it along the bottom of the card, or the bottom edge of the frame of the card there. And I'm doing surgery to the card, so look away those who don't like cutting their stamps in half. It's something that is difficult for me to do as well, but I've mustered up the courage to do it a few times, and it's easier than you think. So I'm thinking, okay, let's put it above and one below. No, that doesn't look great to me. So I've decided I was going to put it back together and use a black piece of cardstock, which is the Nina 100-pound heavyweight premium cardstock, and I will stamp it on that and give it some gold embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. I believe I used I used Ranger superfine gold embossing powder. So there we go, we're stamping the sentiment. It's basically the one that says kicking up our heels, or kicking up your heels, I'm sorry. Getting the powder bag so we get the anti-static going. There's nothing worse than having this beautiful sentiment and then putting down the Versamark ink and putting the embossing powder on, and the embossing powder sticks everywhere. So that's why it's very important to use the anti-static bag, the powder bag. So here I'm just simply showing you how I apply the embossing powder. I give it a light tap, make sure it's got plenty of powder there to emboss. And I'm going to take the heat tool, which is a Wagner heat gun, and I'm going to preheat that. As you can see here, you'll see the gold come to life. It's a beautiful thing. Once it's there, it's nice and shiny and beautiful. It just accents the sentiment so nicely. So I'm going to trim that sentiment up. I'm going to do that on my cutter. And now I applied the foam tape, the 3M foam tape. I'm just adjusting it so it lies flat. So I had applied the scrapping little square pieces of foam tape onto the back of the gentleman and lady flappers. And now I'm simply taking the backing off of all of the pieces, and I'm about to line up the sentiment onto the card. And here I'm using the tool set that comes with the mat as a extra from Tim Holtz. So it's the Tonic Tim Holtz glass mat and the media set. It has a scraper as well for cleanup, it's absolutely wonderful for quick cleanup. So I aligned the sentiment. Now I'm placing my two flappers onto the card. There we go. And now I'm going to add some of the confetti mix onto the card front in a few strategic places. I'm using my crystal katana here to pick up the confetti pieces. It's a wonderful thing to use. It's got a wax head to it. There are also other things that can be used that do have wax on the tip, and I can add that item as well at the bottom in the supplies list. So here I'm just placing the confetti in some, couple of places below the female flapper and above the male dancer there. And I also cut out some musical notes from the musical note die. And I'm going to just simply glue those down as well. And I'm using the Gina K Connect glue, which is a nice strong glue. It has a very fine tip on the end, which makes it very easy for small details, things that are thinner, that you glue down. So I'm just cleaning up a little bit of the glue that kind of I was a little overzealous on the glue. So that comes up very easily. And now I'm going to place the card topper onto a side, I believe it's a top folding card. Oh, no, it's a side folding card. I used the Nina Solar White Classic 110-pound cardstock. I'm using my Xyron Mega Runner tape applicator there to glue down the card front onto the base. And I'm just simply aligning it, smoothing it out, and there we are. I hope you like this. And now this is our next card. Here I am paper piecing. I used the background die, fancy die that came with the kit as well, with all those beautiful archways. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous die. So I had colored paper by hand, and I was utilizing it and putting it onto the areas that were cut out in the die. So I took out all the gold pieces, and now I'm applying those aqua pieces into those portions that were emptied out. So I just thought I'd give you a quick look at the piecing, and that it's worth doing because now you get two cards and you can just utilize the second cutout as well and make that second card. It is a little tedious of a task to inset all those pieces, but it's really well worth it. It makes a gorgeous card. So I just keep looking at the second piece, figuring out, you know, what to do with that second piece while I'm inlaying the pieces into the card I'm currently making. Just a few pieces left here, and we'll be moving on to placing the stamp into the center. So here we go, just a couple more pieces left. I had run this all through the Xyron machine. It's basically a sticker maker type of a machine, and it's a manual crank to it. You just place the card into the back, and it sandwiches it in between a piece of paper and glue. So here we go, we're placing the lovely lady stamp onto the center for placement to see where we're going to stamp her. And here we are doing the sentiment with an architectural piece beneath it. That is also part of the stamp set. Using the powder bag to remove any static or fingerprints. You don't want anything sticky on there other than the Versamark that you're going to actually put onto the stamp. So here I'm putting the Versamark onto the stamp, and I will apply the stamp onto the Nina Black 100-pound heavyweight cardstock, which I'm using there to stamp the sentiment onto. You're probably hearing jingling in the background. That's my dog Daphne. She's walking around, sniffing around, looking at me. So here I'm applying the Ranger Superfine Gold embossing powder, and I'm using my Wagner heat tool to melt the embossing powder. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. It's my favorite part is melting that embossing powder. So I trimmed up the sentiment, and I placed it on the bottom to show placement of the lady. And I also used a small architectural stamp as well. That's part of the kit. And here I am placing the Versamark onto the stamp. I'm using the good old powder bag. Never forget the powder bag. It's pretty important if you don't want static and particles of the embossing powder everywhere. So I'm stamping down the lady with the architectural piece above her head. It's just an elegant stamp with a beautiful hat. I did use the gold embossing powder. I wanted to do a pretty much two-tone colored card with the gold and the aqua. And here it's all completed. I placed the sentiment on there, and that's the completed card. So now we're going to go on to the next, yes, I'm sorry. I placed the martini glasses on either side of the lovely lady there, just to make it fun, because it does say party like it's 1922, and she is having a martini after all. So I just added a couple extra around as decoration. I'm putting on the Gina K Connect glue onto the back of the glasses, onto the die of the glasses here. And it's great that it has that fine tip. It's one of my favorite glues. The other glue I'll be using in this video is the Tonic Nouveau Deluxe glue as well. But right here I'm using the Gina K. Great card. Thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in part 2. Blessings.